Hi there, my name is FixFox, and welcome back to Heroes of Might and Magic 1. Folks, we had such a good time in the previous playthrough where we are on Lord Alamar's campaign and completed Scenario 1 and 2 that I decided that I want more. I wasn't sure if Heroes of Might and Magic 1 was going to be a one-off or if I was going to kind of dive in a little bit. It's got me hooked. I've at least got to see this thing through to the very end of this campaign. And so with that being said, let's dive right on into Heroes of Might and Magic 1. Let me pull up my old DOS box. Let me get around this weirdness that my computer refuses to do anything else for. And let's get into this. Okay. Last time we did not actually show the full intro here. I am going to let you see the full intro. Look at those guys with the trumpets. The trumpet music still goes, and yet the trumpeteers at the top of the castle have stopped moving. That's kind of interesting. But there it is for you. Beautiful music, and then two sprites bringing in this lovely title screen. So, with this being said, let's dive right on in. We're going to go into load game, campaign game. We just finished Scenario 02, and we are on to Scenario 3, the Wounded Land for Lord Alamar. Chaos, a maelstrom of combat plagues the land. The people suffer, but will rally behind the wielder of the Eye of Goros, an artifact that can heal the wounded land. It was buried and lost eons ago. The First Lord, to uncover the eye, will unite the people and conquer the land, but it lies in a vast territory with only pieces of a puzzle to guide the way. I think that tells me everything that I need to know about what we need to do to defeat this scenario. And let's dive right in, folks. We start again with Ari the Warlock. We got to see him in the very first playthrough of the scenario. 6 centaurs, 3 of the gargoyles, 0 attack, 0 defense, 3 spell power, and 2 knowledge. We're gonna check out this castle here that we are in and see if there's anything special. There is not anything special. Centaurs and gargoyles, not too bad. But folks, we have 30 wood, 30 ore, 10 of each of the precious resources, and 10,000 gold. I think we got some opportunities here to do pretty well. Let's go straight into the nest. As I mentioned in the previous playthrough, I really like the 1-2 punch of the gargoyles and the griffins. And oh, by the way, did anyone notice that from Heroes 1 to Heroes 2, there were not an awful lot of changes? From playthrough to playthrough, from faction to faction, from game to game, you still have centaurs, gargoyles, griffins, minotaurs, hydras, and dragons. Those are still the creatures that you have from the warlocks in 1 to 2. And the sprites are the same, and the humans are pretty much the same. Like, basically, they didn't do much to change Heroes 1 to Heroes 2. And was that a good choice? I kind of think it was. I don't think that there was anything wrong with the fantasy genre, the fantasy kind of lead-in to the scenario. You didn't really need to mix things up. You just ended up bringing it a little more into the future. And Heroes 2 did an excellent job of keeping Heroes 1 very, very true to the original. After scouring the area, we fall upon a hidden treasure cache. We may take the gold or distribute the gold to the peasants for the experience. Do we want to keep the gold? And we're going to take the gold here. Because you're only going to get primary stats out of leveling up, I have personally decided that the gold is, in most cases, going to be much more valuable, much more often. We see a silver axe embedded deeply in the ground. After several unsuccessful attempts by your army to remove the axe, you tightly grip the handle of the axe and effortlessly pull it free. That's going to be, it looks like +2 to our attack skill for the power axe of Dominion. That is pretty wonderful. And aside from only getting gold when you level up, there's also one other thing that I noticed that thankfully someone else in the comments also indicated to me. Let me pull that up. Let me see who that was in the comment section. Who indicated something very important. Here's what it is. There's actually some hidden mechanics that are critically important. That was Slip Metal said in his comment, in Heroes 1, all barbs start with pathfinding, knights have +1 morale, warlocks have scouting, and the sorceresses love their boats, which I take to mean that they travel further on water. And of course in Heroes 2, this was very clearly differentiated because of the secondary skills. Because there's no secondary skills in Heroes of Might and Magic 1, it seems, I don't know, call it a little bit superfluous really, to work into secondary skills when, hey, we just don't have any. And so, there's no sense in me doing anything but taking the gold, in my humble opinion. These peasants want to follow me. Do I want them to follow me? Sure. As far as I'm aware, there is no movement penalty for having very slow creatures, so 38 peasants, we're going to take them for now, as we do pick up the +2 ore per day from the ore mine, and a little bit extra from this windmill, and folks, we have hit our very first obelisk. You come upon an obelisk made from a type of stone you have never seen before. Staring at it intensely, the smooth surface suddenly changes to an inscription. The inscription is a piece of a lost ancient map. Quickly, you copy down the piece of the inscription, and it vanishes as abruptly as it had appeared. Looks like there's going to be so many obelisks, but we do see green trees, we see brown dirt, maybe some mountain range. We're going to keep an eye out for this exact place. It looks like that's exactly our general tile set right here anyway. Maybe we're going to get lucky, and that ultimate artifact is going to be right outside of our main town. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if we were older? Dun, 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 dun. Or had an ultimate artifact for that matter. Centaurs, I don't love this fight, but this is the reason why we took Griffins first off. There is something in the manual, by the way. I looked in the manual for Heroes Might and Magic 1. There's something that indicates that I can actually shift left click or maybe shift right click. I'm supposed to be able to shift and move these creatures and like split stacks if I read the manual correctly. But as I'm giving this a shot, I'm not seeing this actually being a thing. Maybe it's only if I'm trying to split troops into a different army. Of course, in Heroes 2, I can split stacks and have multiples, but I'm guessing in Heroes 1, as I had previously supposed, that's just not the case. And if that's so be it, so long as my enemies don't get some decided advantage over me, because they can split stacks and I can't, I will just suffer with what I have before me. These gargoyles are way too hot to handle for these centaurs. These centaurs are going to run into an absolute buzz saw between griffins, between gargoyles, between the centaurs. So 38 peasants are not going to do much, but maybe I end up fighting some dwarves and they can take a couple of hits for me. That's really my hope. Gargoyles do 35 damage. We do not lose a single gargoyle to the centaur barrage, and we pick up 165 experience for our troubles. We are picking up, it looks like going to be the swamp here, and we are officially low on resources. If we're going to pick up the Black Tower anytime soon, we will need 20 sulfur. We currently have all the ore that we need. We're going to need a little bit of extra gold, but truly, we have really sold out to get up to the swamp here at this point, and with only 1,000 gold left, I'm hoping that this treasure chest is going to provide enough gold to get me to another hero, and I think it shall. In fact, let's double check that right now. Maybe I should have, maybe I misprioritized just a little bit. Maybe I should have actually tried to avoid, there it is. Maybe I should have tried to avoid, I found it. I'm so excited. Maybe I should have tried to avoid getting up to the swamp that early. Maybe I should have hired that second hero on day 1 or day 2, but I did not. Folks, I left click, I highlight the portrait, I shift, and I click, and then I can actually move creatures to the garrison. Now, if I try to move creatures down into the hero, they must stay put, but this means I can actually leave with this scout with only one single centaur, and that feels pretty good. Oh my goodness, that feels good. So let's do it just like this. And Sandro's gonna leave. Wow. One centaur. Wow, Christmas. It's Christmas already? Christmas. That sounds pretty great. Folks, 1, 2, 3 piles of sulfur. Are we gonna get lucky? Are we gonna pick up enough sulfur sooner than I thought? In order to get dragons? Time will tell, but I think that we pump the brakes, and I don't think we make any other purchases unless we really have to. I think that from here on out, we're gonna try and make sure that we get all the gold and sulfur we can. I don't need anything but those nice purple dragons. 3 a week goes an awful long ways. With 200 hit points each, the purple dragons here in Heroes 1 are very, what's the word? Overpowered? Overpowered. They're pretty overpowered in the best way possible. At least in the best way possible when I'm the one who's playing as the warlocks. Gargoyles, they still have a couple hit points left. Let's have them clear out this top stack of centaurs. We take the damage from 3, we retaliate, and 9 goes down to 3 one more time. Oh no, we did lose for the first time 1 gargoyle. He exploded in a pool of blood. Very interesting how that works, but I'm not going to question it. 235 experience. Mercury couldn't be too bad. Crystal mine. I wonder if there's more important things around here. Is there one more patch of something up here? Let me just check to see. There's not. I think that since I've gone in this direction, I'm going to go up and grab this crystal mine, because it's also got the defender's helm behind it. But I think I'm going to have my other hero try and head in that direction as soon as he can. We're going to skip all the way around and let our centaurs get the first shot off. And heck, maybe the peasants will even move themselves into an advantageous position. We will see. Griffins are going to step up. We do enough damage to kill all but one of the rogues. Is this one rogue going to get to go first? They do. And with that being said, I think that we're just going to let the gargoyles take the hit from, looks like going to be 11 of these rogues. Of course, rogues have no melee retaliation. One thing that we're just not going to have to worry about is them doing damage to us. I just realized I fought this fight a little bit poorly. I shouldn't have killed the rogue that was in range of the peasants. Overall, it didn't end up costing us, but even in Heroes Might and Magic 1, it's still smart to play as ideally, as completely as we possibly can. Okay, folks, here it is. We currently have 0 sulfur. We find 5, we find 7, we find 6. That's going to bring us up to 18 sulfur. We are not too far away. I need one more patch of sulfur, and for that reason, I'm actually going to go exploring more with my hero, Sandro, in this direction. By the way, interesting that even at this stage, you could tell Sandro was definitely a necromancer. I know he's Sandro the Warlock, but he was definitely a necromancer, lest we kid ourselves. Okay, waiting on the Black Tower, waiting on the gold, waiting on everything else. And since I'm here, should I pick up the crystal? Should I pick up the mercury? I just don't need it. And I still don't think, after I looked into the manual, I don't think that there's any way I can trade resources, and so I won't try. A glint of golden light catches your eye. Upon further investigation, you find a golden helm hidden under a bush. This is going to be, I believe, +1 defense. +1 defense it is for the defender's helm. Not too bad. Picking up some mercury. We find more mercury to the south in an actual alchemist lab. These archers, I think I can defeat them with no major issues. And is this our mine? If this is our sulfur mine, then we're going to have to go through some ogres. But go through some ogres, I will. No one will keep me from my gold. I'm picking up all the sulfur in the world. Folks, we found it. We found our sulfur mine. And now I'm actually turning my attention to hopefully finding gold as quickly as possible. 1,000 gold per day. Not that much. It's not that much. We're going to need much more gold. 15,000 gold. That's 15 turns worth of gold on one single castle's income. Unless you go exploring, unless you find gold out there in the wild blue yonder. And that feels pretty bad. I am amazed at how tough these archers are. 10 hit points each versus 5 hit points each. I guess that I forget that archers in Heroes 1 and Heroes 2, they're second level creatures, so they are definitely tougher than my centaurs or the neutral centaurs that we've faced so far. But still, it felt like I should have killed more than just one there in that previous go around. Thankfully, the griffins are absolutely obliterating these poor archers. Oh my goodness. And this is actually a big difference between Heroes 2 and Heroes 3, I believe. And here's where I'm coming at with this. It feels like the warlocks are even better than other factions because they have 2 flyers. If I'm fighting ranged enemies like trolls or these archers per se, as we pick up 1,000 experience, it feels like you're able to get down the battlefield, and because everybody is essentially in close formation because the battlefield is so tightly jam-packed, then 2 flyers is all you need to effectively cover up everybody. And so, it's a pretty good system for the warlocks where other people just don't have that luxury. Areas gained a level, by the way, +1 knowledge. Very nice. And there is a gold mine here, so I had supposed that we would be going through the ogres, and I don't think that my plans have changed. I do think that it's gonna be necessary, it's gonna be useful, needful to go back and grab some more troops, even though it's gonna be costly. Even a few hydras can do tons and tons of damage. With their high hit points, I'm planning on a few hydras, maybe 2, maybe 1,600 gold worth of hydras. Maybe a little bit more, defeating our enemies here. We're not going to spend the time to pick up another hero to bring the troops to Aerie, and we're not going to invest in a mage guild. Let's go 1, 2, let's go 3, just to be careful. Let's bring all these hydras, and let's try and get the peasants and the hydras to really do the damage to these ogres. Let's head back, pick up 1,000 gold per day, and go from there. Meanwhile, Sandro is picking up another obelisk. That is 4 puzzle pieces total that we have unearthed. This flower is a little bit interesting. I wonder if that's going to be useful for us or not. Yeah, something like that, but not that. Huh. That's a pretty unique flower, actually. It's well, there's 2 of them in one viewing window, but it's very white and it stands out against the dirt background, and so I feel like it should be fairly recognizable when we come upon the correct spot. It looks like we do have a couple of enemies, by the way, as I regret not picking up the well last week. because it's day 2. Whoops. I should have picked up the well. 500 gold is absolutely not worth less than 2 troops a day. Or no, less than 2 troops less a week. But we made the mistake. We're going to rectify that now and move on from there. 600 gold, 6 gems. And unfortunately, we come upon the ancient artifact, and as we reach for it, a pack of rogues leap out of the bush to guard their stolen loot. Sandro has 1 centaur, folks. This doesn't look good. Shoot. And it was for the Sailor's Astrolobe, like an artifact that I absolutely do not need and like do not really want. Oh, that's embarrassing. There's really no sense in saving Sandro, and so we are going to see what happens when our forces suffer a bitter defeat. Shame. Absolute shame. And all for the Sailor's Astrolabe on a landlocked map. I am sickened. Okay, well, so be it. I won't hire a second hero, although they could be useful. I'm really going to just push towards the big, beautiful dragons. I feel like those have proven themselves to be very, very much worth our time. I think that they're going to keep us alive if we can just get to them, so let's give them the chance. Now, who wins? Slow ogres with 40 hit points or slow hydras with 75? Truth be told, I think that we're going to have this excellent concave around these hydras because of this terrain here. This is impassable terrain, and so it is going to be the centaurs doing damage from afar, and it's going to be the hydras trying to do tons of damage in the front end, along with maybe some peasant support to really strike a blow against these enemies. 1 ogre goes down. We are skipping. Hydras, I waited on them just so that way we could get at least 2 enemies with this first attack. We do get 2. Peasants are going to have to step up. Not quite the way I wanted it. I'm not sure how many hit points we have left. I haven't really been checking. I should have been. Let's damage this ogre here because we know it's about to go first. It does. Then we get a nice hit off with the hydras. Oh my goodness, that feels good. Peasants are going to step up. Hydras are going to step over. Rather, peasants over, hydras up. And we're just keeping everybody but the hydras out of the mix. Even if we lose 800 gold worth of hydra, that feels better than losing any amount of gargoyle or griffin. And, to be fair, there's a good chance I'm not going to lose any hydras at all. They are just so tanky. And I love every little bit of that. Okay. Ah! The peasant just says, ah. That's all he says. It's very sad. I'm very sad to have lost those gentlemen. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. That was the plan the whole time. Okay, how about now? Let's jump in the fight right now. It's the first round, or first bit of combat for this new round. Everybody's going to step up, see if we're going to do some damage. I'm not convinced that the ogres won't go and attack the hydras. No, they go for the griffins. Interesting. And that's absolutely worth my time. Making sure that we for sure don't lose a hydra. That feels okay to me. 7 damage onto the griffin, and then the centaurs are going to be the one to finish this. 38 of the peasants, 1 of the griffins. The hydra is just so very tanky. 800 experience as well. That's going to be plus 1 more knowledge. Already, we are looking like a formidable spellcaster with 3 spell power and 4 knowledge. Let's go, baby. Let's go. And let's pick up the campfire. 500 gold, 5 sulfur, and most importantly, 2,000 gold per day. Wonderful. We do see for the first time, and it looks like the bottom left here, the green sorceresses. Luna is kind of pressing into our territory. There's no way she's getting through a pack of elves, unless they decide to join her for some reason that is beyond me. So let's just plan on things going much better than that. And again, it's going to take a little while to pick up the gold necessary. Call it, the next 5 days or so. Unless I find any amount of treasure. I could go through griffins. Lots of griffins feels like it's going to cost me a lot of my centaurs. Is that worth it for 1 campfire? It's going to be 3 days of waiting. And currently in the treasury, we have 8,300 gold. And so that campfire would have to be worth 700 gold. That does not feel like it's worth it. Tell you what though, centaurs, this is going to be a little bit of a ways away, but this might be the difference in getting me up to the Black Tower. Let's go straight for those centaurs and hope for the very, very best. Luna, of course, ran away. The coward. Absolute coward. But she is doing something very, very novel. She is stealing my artifacts. I don't know how good a fast start is here in Heroes of Might and Magic 1, Of course, in here, any Heroes of Might and Magic game, as we pick up a group of centaurs that want to follow us, we go up to 43. Very, very nice. In any Heroes of Might and Magic game, having a nice quick start does matter. It always has, it always will. I don't know how critically important it is to have a quick start here in Heroes of Might and Magic 1. I just don't know. In some Heroes 3 scenarios, it feels like if you don't get a nice start, the map is just lost. And the same can be said for Heroes 2. In Heroes 1, is it that forgiving? Or is it that punishing if you do not get a good fast start? Tough to say. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. That is our 6th puzzle piece, our 3rd obelisk. And folks, let's head back. We're going to have a couple of dragons to pick up. Should we go through this town here first? Town of Dusk? Let's actually see what the Thieves Guild has to tell us. Of course, the Thieves Guild will allow us to get a general idea about some enemy forces. Pikemen, I'm sure that we have that fight handled, especially with the centaurs. It'll just be even better. It'll be even better if we go pick up some other troops. Tell you what, day 4, we want another hero anyway. Let's pick up Agar the Warlock. And he should be able to bring 1 dragon down. 3,000 gold? No, he's not going to be able to. We still need a little bit of extra gold to make that happen. But if we head to right here, how far will Agar be able to get? Agar will be able to get to there this upcoming turn. Let's go to right there. And then at the beginning of this upcoming turn, we are going to jump right on in to our enemies. Fixfox has to test something. My medium speed centaurs, my fast gargoyles, will I be able to move further today on this new turn if I do have the centaurs out of my army? And it looks like it does matter. Look at the movement bar for Agar. Nice to know that that mechanic is still good. From Heroes 2 to Heroes 1, that mechanic does remain constant, which is another indicator of how right they got things in Heroes of Might and Magic 1. Like, if you stop and think about it, they got so many things correct when you're playing this game, and I'm just grateful for it. In this case, can I do this? I can. We were leaving 7 or 8 centaurs at a time with our heroes in the previous scenario. Now that we've learned that the shift does work, I feel much better about this. Interesting that these arrows don't actually click to move stuff. It looks like they should, but they don't. So let's go on into Dusk. Actually, did Agar have more movement than he would have otherwise? He did. He did. So maybe walking around with Hydras is not the play. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I'm going to wait and find out later. Medium speed dragons are usually going to go later in the fight than you would rather have them go. I think it's actually good to move the centaurs now down to the very bottom for turn order purposes, and then the dragon should slip in at the front end. I think that that'll actually be much, much better. In this case, it won't really matter, but still. I'm a big fan of trying to make sure that this works out as correctly as possible. We have lost a couple of the gargoyles, not that big of a deal, but always sad to see. I wonder if these pikemen are going to step up in between. I'm going to try something. If I skip, will the pikemen step up? So I purposefully flame breath myself. Let's find out. They do not. So the AI misses an opportunity there to harm me by making my dragons flambe my gargoyles. We did that for science, everybody. Sometimes you just have to be willing to lose a couple of gargoyles in the interest of pursuing science. And that's what we have done at this time. It looks like we stepped into that town, but there were some archers outside of it, and so we've got to fight them. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And I think that this is maybe the very first fight that we've fought so far, where I would really truly enjoy having a auto combat resolve. This Heroes 1, the previous playthrough I did, it was about a 2-hour video where we got through Scenario 1 and Scenario 2. And in all honesty, it felt like the real enemy in Heroes 1 is fatigue. It's not really the gameplay so much so far. It's really the fatigue of having to click so many times. We do have this night town. It can be upgraded into a castle. These peasants are waiting, hoping that they will be recruited so that they can seek glory and honor. The day is not today, my friends. The day is not today. But these resources, I believe Agar is going to go grab those in 1 second. There's an interesting shrine here. Should I pursue that option? Should I go back and actually try and get some Mage Guild levels? No. No, we have dragons, and if you have dragons, you ought to use them. There's no better time to use dragons than as soon as possible. So Agar shall continue along the way. In case you're wondering how our economy is doing, that's 2,250 gold per day. It looks like we are missing gems. We do need a gem mine, but we do have one of each other one at our disposal. 14 soul for right now. That is going to be, along with dragons, the main issue with trying to build up mage guilds. I don't actually know what the fountain does. As you drink the water, the sweet water, you gain luck for your next battle. In the previous scenario, I wanted to click on everything, but I also wanted to win in a timely manner. Once again, I'm glad I got to do that for science. These nomads have no idea what's coming their way. Oh, and funny enough, we're going to get the chance very, very quickly. We are going to get the chance to avenge the loss that we had to our dear friends, to those rogues. Who was the hero that we lost? Sandro? Sandro is, I'm sure, very, very sore at the fact that he lost to a couple of mangy rogues popping out of the brush. I would be too, so he shouldn't feel too bad. Worth noting that turn order works the same way in Heroes 1 as it does in Heroes 2. For example, if there's evenly matched speeded troops, the attacker is going to get to go first. They get the initiative on round 1. On round 2, whoever ended their turn, they're going to go second in the upcoming fight. So in this case, my gargoyles go first this round, but because I have the very slow hydras, at the end of this first round of combat, their very fast gargoyles are going to get to go first. Whereas this time I get to go first. So me this time, then them next time, and basically until the hydras die or until some other speed indication changes turn order. A slow, a haste, things like that. This is going to be a pretty unique town, I think. This town is... I thought I was going to roast my own hydras. This town is going to give me the opportunity, I do believe, to look at building out some other troops. I don't think a second dragon tower is really likely, but if it happens, I'm gonna feel pretty okay. I mean, even just getting up to some additional hydras, that is gonna be very, very valuable. Will we be able to build up 2 towns after we've already built up the one? I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. We're gonna step up. We're gonna kill many creatures. The poor centaurs are taking a little bit of a beating. And even more so when the gargoyles get to go twice. I think that we're just going to focus on griffins and whatever else we can. This fight is not in any kind of danger of being a loss for us, but minimizing losses always feels like a good idea. So let's do our best. And before I forget, as we pick up 1,000 experience for 8 centaurs and 2 gargoyles, let's actually try to arrange our turn order as we also pick up 1+ defense. So 2 attack, 2 defense, 4 spell power, 4 knowledge. It's a pretty good hero. So far, so good. Yeah, dragons in the very first slot. I actually do think that that's the best thing for us. Let's put the hydras at the very bottom to sort of protect our friends, the centaurs. 24 more are available. We are instantly going to pick them up. This castle, we are going to upgrade that as soon as we can. Not today, but someday. Rather than go all the way around to this shrine, let's go right through some nomads. And this is going to be a very eventful turn. 3, 4 battles? Whatever it was, this was several opportunities to lose some troops, and we've done a pretty good job of staying alive. I think that hydras are going to want to step right up into that group of nomads right here. Then again, well, I definitely want to roast nomads where I can. 2 at a time feels great. And so then the hydras are going to try and get the centaurs unstuck, who are going to skip their turn. We kill 4 creatures that perish, and this gargoyle should kill this one single stack before they get to threaten our centaurs any longer. And there is the final battle of this very, very eventful day. 440 experience. And Aerie does have a sneaky 5,500 experience. So 5,500 experience actually goes a pretty long way. My army is getting much, much stronger. We're going to grab the gazebo while we're here, but I'm still going to head up there and grab, it looks like mercury, crystal, things like that. And with a little bit of extra gold on this month 4, week 4, day 1, we are, is that month 4? It says month 4, week 4, day 1. Have I just been clicking that fast? Oh my goodness. Huh. we are going to end up upgrading that town into a castle. An old knight appears at the steps of the gazebo. My liege, I will teach you all that I know to aid you in your travels. Thank you, sir. +1 knowledge. And this is why the knowledge is important. This shrine is going to be a big boon to us because we have our 5 knowledge on our main hero, Aerie. So, Agar is going to head back in just 1 second. And he's going to grab whatever he can, dragon-wise. And we do have this shrine. Nestled in a small hidden shrine is an ancient wooden altar. Upon the altar, a golden plaque bears an inscription with the secret to the ancient magical spell, View Minds. I'm going to cast that right now and just see what this View Minds can tell us. Folks, it looks like it's going to be red in the upper right corner. Looks like brown in the bottom right corner. And then the green sorceresses who we've already seen, they're in the bottom left. The enemies looks like they're getting a pretty good push on the map, but because the sorceresses have more minds, I feel obligated to attack them first, and so we shall. We're going to go straight south, straight into them, and hope that we can just ruin their day. Unless there's another gold mine, plus a sack of gold for another 1,000 gold per day. There's another shrine here. Pack of unicorns? Let's see. Let's see how fast Agar can get back for the resupply and back to the front. I wonder, let's see, 9,600 gold. I'm not going to upgrade that town into a castle like I had talked about. Let me actually get the dragons first. 3 dragons, 9,000 gold. 3,000 gold remains. I'm glad that we didn't spend 5,000 gold. That would have just felt bad. 28 centaurs, let's grab them, and then the gargoyles, and we're going to call it a day. Agar's coming. And he's going to have some nice resupply. Just as soon as Aerie can hold his horses. I think that the shrine, speaking of horses, hidden behind this pack of unicorns, I think that we fight, we win, and whatever losses we take, we consider that part of the cost of doing business. Because as the top unicorn skips his turn because they're blocked in, that shrine, if it's a paralyze, if it's a damaging spell or a blind, it could mean the difference between a win and a loss against any number of these enemies that we are up against. 2 unicorns perish. Unicorns are only doing 11 damage at a time. I think I'm going to keep all my troops back and let these dragons just kind of have their fun. Although, unicorns did go down the battlefield, maybe threatening centaurs. Maybe they were going for the hydras. I can't quite say, but that was a little bit interesting. Unexpected from the AI to not try and focus on the dragons exclusively. It looked like they tried to spread their damage out a little bit. I don't hate that decision, but ultimately it did availeth them nothing. 440 experience, no losses as we defeated, looked like, call it anywhere between 10 to 18 of those unicorns. And shrine number 2, aha, the blind spell. Maybe the best spell amongst Heroes of Might and Magic 1, 2, and 3. The fact that you can have a spell that completely and utterly disables one whole stack of creatures until dispelled or attacked or the spell power runs out is absolutely phenomenal. I'm a huge fan of that. Again, I do want to go towards the sorceresses, but we do need gems. We don't actually have a gem mine. We haven't picked that up, and so I'm going to rush over here. Oh, and look at that. Look at that. Look at this. There's a huge cache of resources and artifacts here. I hate to say this. I want to go for the sorceresses, but this foremost scroll of knowledge, this minor scroll of knowledge, the true compass of mobility, the medal of courage, and the thunder mace of dominion, those artifacts are far too powerful for me to simply ignore. We have a new heading, and it's going to hopefully be not too long before Agar can catch up to Aerie. I'm only going to slow down a little bit. Oh no, I thought I could get around this way. It looks like I cannot. But there are a few dragons guarding those resources. Huh, very interesting. Okay. Swordsmen, at least, are guarding the Witch's Brooch for the +3 spell power. I think I will still take them out. And we still will try and destroy this whole army, basically with 1 dragon. Oh yes. Oh yes. And if we have good morale on this 1 dragon, I think that these forces are absolutely gonna have a real bad time. Real bad time indeed. Everybody's gonna stay back. Oh, I should have attacked with the centaurs. I did not. That was absolutely a mistake on my part. And gargoyles, I will have the gargoyles step up just in case. I would hate to accidentally take damage from a stack of swordsmen onto my centaurs that I otherwise would have planned on. I think I can attack this bottom swordsman and still eat the damage from these other groups. The gargoyle lost 11 hit points. This is just an exercise in trying to keep all my troops alive. There's some value in trying to make sure that you minimize losses to whatever end. To whatever end. And it looks like we have yet again done that. No losses. It looks like it was going to be, oh, call it 16, 20 of the swordsmen. And the leprechaun offers me, you, us, the witch's brooch of magic for the small price of 2,000 gold. Plus 3 spell power for 2,000 gold. I don't think that that's any question. I think that that's an excellent artifact and we will take it. And while I had originally thought to myself, let's go south and go through these dragons, now I don't think that that's the case. Can you get to these dragons? I don't know if you can get to these dragons. I think that they're just completely encased in trees. Is this the map designer thinking that they're funny? It might be. Might be. But what's not any question is whether or not we can get to this gold mine. And we're going to do that as quickly as we can. It looks like Agar is catching up. The slow hydras are making it so Aerie is not too fast for me. But at the same time, we are going to have to go through these griffins. Griffins, of course, a formidable creature, especially because they have their unlimited retaliations. I'm going to go into a full defensive position, trying to keep the centaurs alive. And it looks like my dragon can actually destroy one full stack of creatures at any given point. This terrain is best for the enemy griffins because I can't get my double hex flame breath attack off. I think that this dragon is going to take all the attention. So far, so good. And even the hydras are going to get a shot off. Everybody else is going to skip. Let the dragon do what it does best. And amazing that we're clearing the entire map with this one single creature. That's all you need. One dragon. One dragon is making this an impossible fight for our enemies, as Aerie does pick up +1 to his knowledge. 5 wood and 500 gold from that previous campfire. And then this gold mine for an extra 1,000 gold per day on top of this artifact that is unfortunately for our enemies guarded by rogues. We are going to walk away from this day with an additional 2,000 gold per day. I feel pretty good about my chances at this point. Don't you? Looks like the rogues are going straight for the centaurs, not a bad choice. And unfortunately for them, they are going to line themselves up for a double hex attack. Pretty interesting actually, now that I think about it. The double hex attack is so much more valuable in Heroes 1 than it was Heroes 2. I wonder how much the previous data from Heroes 1 actually played into the balance decisions from Heroes 2. For example, you think about the Cyclopes and their cost with 750 gold and the 1 crystal. I mean, compared to a dragon, a green dragon or a giant, the Cyclopes is just not that good, right? It's just not that good. It is what it is. I'm kind of that Heroes of Might and Magic 2 apologist where I say, look, each faction is meant to be played differently at certain phases of the game. That's truly my opinion. I'm not just saying that because it sounds good. But I do have to admit that if there's any chance of reaching late game, you absolutely want to go with the Warlocks or the Wizards in Heroes 2. But I'm wondering if that decision to make the Cyclopes, for example, as weak as they are, was because it just made sense based off of the Heroes 1 data, knowing that the double hex attack could turn an entire battle on its head for you. Because the battle map changes dimensions from Heroes 1 to Heroes 2, and nothing is close formation like it was, I truly think that that might have been part of the reason why the Cyclopes didn't get a little bit more love and attention in Heroes 2 than they did in Heroes 1. I truly think so. I really do. Again, Heroes of Might and Magic 2 apologist here, but hey, at least I'm honest about my biases. I'll let you know exactly how biased I am. It seems like the very least I can do for you. This fight, we are trying to take out this whole town of enemy forces. Unfortunately, the Minotaur is going to get the first hit off. They did 45 damage to the Hydra. Woof. 7 Minotaurs are really tough, but 4 dragons is much tougher. After Agar has joined forces here with Aerie, these 4 dragons are just rolling over everything. Men, women, and children, everybody better run. And I better upgrade this town of Winterkill. It's Probably a mistake to have waited so long to have upgraded this. I knew I was going to have enough gold quite some time ago, but all the same, all the same. At least there's no time like the present. How about that? At some point, maybe in Winterkill, as we do see for the first time, Lord Kilburn, the green player, threatening this group of elves here. I think that having taken these outer two towns and even turned Winterkill into a castle, I think it makes a lot of sense for me to try and upgrade my mage guild, not in my hometown, but in one of the border towns. While there is some strategy in protecting your mage guild so that only you can pick up the spells by having it far, far away from the enemy, I really think that maybe that was a thought process from the Might and Magic developers here to have tried to put them in the forefront, maybe incentivize building mage guilds in the front lines where everybody could maybe fight for a town and take a town and learn more spells and then come back to fight another day. I think that might have actually been part of the thought process there to kind of encourage and maybe force the action a little bit. Perhaps not, but that's my headcanon as it currently stands. Lord Kilburn is so dead. He doesn't even realize it though. He will find out soon enough. Looks like it's going to be Ari the Warlock. Ari is going to make this final push. Will we be able to defend Winterkill from Lord Kilburn? I highly doubt it. Agar, though, is in the absolute worst positioning. Let's have him pick up the blind spell, and he's going to wait and probably go through some swordsmen when he borrows some dragons in just one moment. We might as well purchase, it looks like 16 centaurs. Let's see if the enemy has any sense of self-preservation. Lord Kilburn has no sense of self-preservation, which is really sad. Because sometime between the events of Heroes 2 and Heroes 3, Lord Kilburn canonically dies, actually. Yeah, I don't want to ruin this. I don't want to spoil it for you. But it's my understanding that canonically, he dies in like an ambush of some kind. I really want to do a video doing the deep dive on lore for the Heroes of Might and Magic series. But here's my one and only concern with trying to do a deep dive on the lore. Number one, you have to get it right. You cannot have any mistakes. You cannot say, whoops, sorry, my bad. I thought it was this, and then somebody has to correct me in the comments because I was an idiot and I just failed you. So you have to get it right, number one. Number two, the lore for Heroes of Might and Magic is spread over so many different games. You've got the Might and Magic series, you've got Heroes of Might and Magic, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, even though I think 6 and 7 are canonically not in Enroth and Arathia. And if you don't know the games very, very well, like I don't, I know Heroes of Might and Magic very well, I don't know much about Might and Magic as a series, then you run the risk of misinterpreting or misunderstanding what some of the lore is. And so it'd be wonderful to do a deep dive on all these heroes that are featured in Heroes of Might and Magic, but I do worry. I sincerely do worry. I want to get these things right. If I'm going to do a video like that, I want to make sure it's right. So maybe what I really need to do is partner up with a Heroes of Might and Magic historian, somebody who knows all about Heroes of Might and Magic, all the lore, and feels comfortable maybe in helping me understand more. If there's any Heroes of Might and Magic lore enthusiasts out there, I am humbly requesting your assistance. If you feel so inclined, I would love to pick your brain. And you can find me on the Fixed Fox Discord. The link is in the description of this video. It's something that I haven't really thought about too much of doing, but it would be good. It'd be really, really good to make sure that I'm understanding this beautiful game. And I've been told that I should definitely play Might and Magic sooner rather than later. How soon? We will find out. They left some of their ogres here. They left 10 ogres here. That seems like a lot. I wonder how much damage we're going to take here. We got no spells to cast. I can attack with the gargoyles in this direction. We're going to lose a lot on the retaliation here, but I'm going to do it. One ogre, 60 points of damage, 56 points of damage on the retaliation. A couple of gargoyles goes down. 3 dragons, though. Attacking 9 ogres, we kill 6. We're going to take 8 damage from the garrison and then retaliate. Yeah, we should have just let the dragons do the work there, huh? 900 experience, though. Not too bad for a secondary hero like Sandro. By the way, we did rehire Sandro. Nice to have him back. I'm going to pick up this first level mage guild. I think I'm going to send my hero Ari in this direction. Slow, curse, dispel magic. Not a bad mage guild. I'm hoping for a damaging spell in the level 2 there. And oh, we're gonna have Agar finish this fight with the lots of swordsmen and then come up to resupply Aerie. I think that what this means is that I can leave everybody but a couple of gargoyles, call it one gargoyle, with my friend and yours, Sandro, the Necromancer. 23 of the gargoyles are going to stay in the garrison. One is going to stick with Sandro, and he's going to go do some exploring as we build up levels of Mage Guild, one more level before Aerie gets here tomorrow. Red is approaching us from the east, so we've defeated green from the southwest, and now from the northeast we do see Lord Hart. Looks like he is up to the Cavaliers, so he's not better than us, but he's still a force to be reckoned with anyway. And so I feel like I'm torn a little bit in my priorities. Do I go strictly south? Do I try and defend that Warlock town to the east? Being pulled in multiple directions is not a new thing in any Heroes of Might and Magic game, but how best to approach this scenario? I think that I really do need to do a good job of sticking to my objectives. What is my objective here? It's not to defeat all my enemies, it's actually to go and get an ultimate artifact and find that somewhere in the earth. And so we shall. That's my plan. And I think it's a good plan. And that's what we're going to do. So let's move every artifact over. I don't think that we're going to run out of spots here on Aerie. Oh, endless sack of gold. Let's keep that on Agar. Let's just make sure that his job is to head north. Maybe drop these Hydras off so that way he can use them as garrison units. And all of a sudden, folks, we've got 7 dragons here on the front lines, not to mention a level 2 Mage Guild that's going to supply us with Turn Undead and Anti-Magic. I think that Aerie's going to stay here. He's basically out of movement points anyway. We're going to have Aerie stay here as we pick up the Sulphur Mine. We're going to get one more day's worth of Mage Guild levels for Aerie the Warlock. Shrine. Within the ornate shrine sits a blind seer. After explaining the intent of your journey, the seer activates his crystal ball, allowing you to see the strengths and weaknesses of your opponents. Folks, we are the blue player, and we are first in the number of towns. We are tied for first in the number of castles with 2. We have more heroes than anybody else. We have more gold in the treasury, more wood and ore, and here's the one that I really care about. Total army strength. It is going to be the yellow player. I mistakenly said that they were brown, but they are living in the bottom right of the map. I am stronger than everyone right now. Let's exert our will over our friends. I shouldn't call them friends. Over our soon-to-be dearly dispatched foes, and just go from there. No sense in trying to save Baywatch from our enemy, Lord Hart. Funny how Lord Hart is not in Heroes 2, but he does make an appearance in Heroes 3 again. And he actually opts to ignore our town there. For what reason, I can't possibly say. He absolutely has a superior fighting force, but we're going to take that. Folks, we've got Elemental Storm. We've got Identify Hero and Elemental Storm. Okay. That doesn't seem fair. When you have dragons and you have Elemental Storm, that doesn't seem fair at all. We are immediately going to have Agar be the new secondary hero, and he is going to take everybody but the dragons. Yep, everybody but the dragons. And my low tier creatures are going to have to win the day with Agar, and Aerie is going to go hunting with his 7 dragons. He is so strong, he is so powerful, he's going to try and immediately blow up Luna because he's like an intercontinental ballistic missile. She has no idea what is on the way for her. That's going to be a mix of dragons and Elemental Storm. I am stuck. I don't think that Sandro can get away for the second time in this campaign. I think that he's going down and I can't stop it, and I feel very, very sorry for it. My friend, it wasn't meant to be. You were always meant to serve another master, or to hang out in the tavern, which, let's be real, that actually sounds like not too bad of a time. I do want to cast the Identify Hero spell. It allows the caster to view detailed info on enemy heroes. And so this is Luna. She's not very good. 9 trolls, 2 of the Cyclopes. Okay, not great, but not bad. And then I can see Lord Hart. 1 attack, 2 defense, 22 of the rogues, 6 of the cavaliers. Yeah, not too bad. We're going to be okay. Let's just let the enemies do their deal and see where they go from there. Okay, Luna does not go for Sandro. She spares his life. And I almost wonder if she's going to run immediately. She does not. She casts protection on her trolls. She wants to survive at least one round of combat. I don't think that she's going to get the chance, folks. I cannot help it. Elemental Storm is on the way from Aerie the Warlock with 8 spell power and a couple of dragons. Let's see how this goes. Oof. Only 4 trolls and 2 of the ogres remain. 2 cyclops went down, several wolves, however many dwarves, and I think that 7 dragons is easily going to flame breath attack the rest of these creatures for 647 damage. Oh my goodness. Luna goes down to the tune of 1400 experience plus a medal of courage. That felt pretty okay to me. And so Aerie is going to continue his march to the sea, much like the Civil War general for the Confederacy for the South, Sherman. To this day, it's still known as Sherman's March to the Sea, where he burned and pillaged his way towards his enemies. Well, that was much closer than I anticipated. Whoops. Folks, if you're just listening and you're not watching, Lord Hart is about 5 steps away from our main castle that has the dragons. If he gets his hands on any dragons, our task in winning this scenario is going to immediately be much, much harder than it was otherwise. We do come upon a statue which raises our morale by 2. A large statue of an angel towers above you. Abruptly, the angel's eyes open, and your troops celebrate a great increase in their morale. Wonderful. We do see Lord Kilburn. He's over here. We're going to immediately blow him up as well. And this is a time where it's a bit of a shame that I only have the Elemental Storm. I've got 5 more casts of it. And I don't know. Do I care if Lord Kilburn runs? The thing is I don't know. And because I don't have another damaging spell to kill 50 peasants with like a single lightning bolt, I feel obligated to absolutely overwhelm my opponents with 200 damage from that Elemental Storm. And I'm glad we did. Stealth Shielded Protection for +2, plus the Sailor's Astrolobe mobility. That was not too bad. +1 spell power for our troubles. Okay. All right. That was definitely worth at least one of our Elemental Storms. And what is this? Lord Hart. I think that we're going to hire another hero with 3 dragons and, oh, 26 Minotaurs. You think that's going to be useful? I think that's going to be useful. And though we have very, very little left as far as gold and things like that, we're going to have Thalagar go forth and absolutely tell you what time of day it is. It's explosion o'clock. It's time. Let it go. Let it go. I'm a big fan of the trope in writing. Man versus nature, man against himself, man against impossible odds. Yeah, you're just gonna lose here, and you can't help it. Thalagar has no spells. I don't really care if the orcs or the archers get a shot off. We're just gonna let the 3 dragons do as much damage as they possibly can. The cavaliers are gonna get the first shot off for 39 damage. I'll see your 39 damage and I'll raise you 119. Oh my goodness. 119 centaurs as well, by the way. They're going straight for these orcs. And I can get a nice double hex attack off here against the rogues and the 2 hex creature cavaliers. Not to mention, I just stepped right in front of the archers with the dragons. Peasants go down. This feels pretty okay, folks. And even though my Minotaur was blinded, this fight with Lord Hart is not really a fight. It's absolutely a slaughter. 0 losses, 968 experience. Let's go, baby. Thalagar with +1 to the spell power. Is he better than Agar at this point? No, they're equally good. Agar does have a little bit more experience, though. We're going to make this big swap. And tomorrow, Agar can leave knowing that he has done everything that his king and country asked for him. Good job, my friend. Sandro, still a bit of a scout. Just collecting obelisks, hoping that he stays away from Troyan. Or rather, hoping that Troyan will stay away from him. Trees. And look at this. Mountains with a pass. Mountains with what appears to be a mountain pass. So I'm looking for a very unique land feature here. Not here, but close to that. I wonder if it's random where the ultimate artifact will spawn. But if there's green grass to the bottom left and then snow to the bottom right, why is there snow? Never mind. I saw white on the adventure map, and I guess that's actually the town of Black Fang. If I can find that very, very unique mountain range, I'll be feeling pretty good. I'll be feeling pretty good. Troyanne does attempt to run past us. We're not going to let her. We're going to go back. She wants the Cyclopes to stay alive. It's not going to happen. They're going to die very quickly and very foolishly. Yeah. But when you have an enemy that is immune to spells, what else do you do? Like, you can't cast an offensive spell against me. You just kind of have to die. And so, I don't know. Warlocks here, don't kid yourself. It took an awful lot of gold in order to make this happen. But it didn't take that much gold. It took, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before we had the dragons. That doesn't feel like that was enough time. It feels like we needed a little bit more aggression from the enemies, or we needed a taller mountain to climb in order to achieve our goals, in order to get those dragons. It feels like the pacing in Heroes 1 is not quite right. It's not quite right. I don't know why you would ever pick anybody but the Warlocks. How about that? I can think of several reasons in Heroes 2 or 3 why I would pick any number of different factions. But here, yeah, no. No chance. No chance. There's an odd Fizbin of Misfortune just sitting there. I wonder if it's to be something of a noob trap. As we do see Antoine, the Yellow Barbarian, who is going to bring Sandro down again. But I wonder if it's a noob trap, because this is one of the campaigns, and the idea being that you should learn from your poor choices, that sometimes you shouldn't pick up everything that you can possibly see. I'm wondering if that's the case anyway. I don't know what Arturus just did there, but I didn't like it. That looked suspicious. And so we're just gonna do some damage. Any spells? Is he gonna run? Okay, he casts haste on the peasants, and that did 11 damage. I guess when you have nothing else to do, that makes sense. 686 more experience to go. No problems. And then this town, unfortunately, we are going to take the hit from the ballista in the main castle, the defenses from the town, but I don't think it's going to really stop us. So our first hit does kill 4 of the elves, 10 damage from the garrison, and then one more turn of combat is going to defeat the 23 sprites. And folks, we have taken out the sorceress castle in the bottom left. That feels wonderful. Attack skill +1. Area is officially up to +1 attack skill. Good job. So I'm guessing, if you notice, up to this point, we've basically gotten spell power and knowledge with a little bit of attack skill, a little bit of defense skill. Remember, +2 defense here, +1 defense here. So we got +1 defense and +1 attack skill in the first 10 levels. And the rest, the other 8 level ups, went into knowledge and power. I'm guessing from here on out, we are going to be more likely to get attack skill and defense skill while still leaning into spell power and knowledge, much like you would find in Heroes 2. There is a mage guild here, Lightning Bolt. That's exactly what we've been looking for. And since I don't intend on giving up this castle, we are going to go for this level 3 mage guild, Fireball. AoE damage is always nice, and we're going to look to get this red tower as soon as we possibly can as well. Antoine did me the disservice of fighting and killing Sandro yet again. And that simply can't be allowed to stand. I don't care where you're from. That's just rude. Absolutely. Like, any etiquette teacher will tell you, don't kill somebody's emissary or scout. You would think that people wouldn't have to go to, I don't know, I want to say beauty school. It's not beauty school. Manners school. Oh, what's the term? Let me think of it. Protocol school? Finishing school? Whatever you call it. I don't think that we often have people that forget their manners when it comes to not killing Fix Fox's guys. I say that, but then now I think about it and I'm not so sure. We are going to use 1 lightning bolt. That brings them down to 11 ogres. 11 ogres is enough for us to kill. 1200 experience. We do save the elemental storm, but the enemy has fled. Antoine did flee just now, and that feels like Fix Fox missed an opportunity. Maybe I should have overwhelmed him. And maybe I made a mistake. We'll find out. Stonehenge, it's on the way to the unicorns, and the unicorns are, of course, on the way to the phoenixes. By the way, I don't know why exactly there's canonically any sense for the prerequisites. It makes sense for the Knight faction that you can't get archers until you get peasants. And it makes sense that you can't get swordsmen until you get pikemen. You know, it makes sense that you have certain prerequisites in some places. What's the reasoning here in the sorceress town? Do you have to convince the phoenixes to come spend time in your town because they like hanging out with the unicorns? Is that what it is? Again, we all know for gameplay reasons why this is the way it is, but as far as actual like in-game lore reasons, is there any reason? Not as far as I'm aware of. I don't know if I got this obelisk. I'm guessing I didn't. So we're going to go find that really quickly. Barbarian Castle here. 6 of the Cyclopes. The enemy numbers are getting pretty high here. We're still way better, but this is still worse than I'd like it to be. We're going to use a Elemental Storm here just because I haven't used one for the last 45 seconds. Oh yeah, that feels pretty good. Down to only 4 of the Cyclopes, which is now down to 0 of the Cyclopes. 9 orcs. They take their shot. It's their best shot, and it's not going to cut it. No losses, 1600 experience, and +1 knowledge. Green player has been vanquished. Folks, a wonderful opportunity here. We have defeated the green player. They were the most spread out on the map. They had taken the most mines a while ago. With our view mines spell, we indicated that. And now they are no longer. It looks like it's now going to be the yellow player that's the biggest threat. I think we're going to go straight through the snowy terrain, and we are going to liberate their forces from there. I missed out on the cure. That's okay. We do have a dispel, so worse things have happened. I am going to recruit a barbarian here, though. Feels like it could be useful with a couple of cyclopes and, medium speed. Let's just take the medium speed troops. Medium speed are better. Yeah. And then let's set off. Maybe we take those troops in case Joe Josh runs across any enemies that are hiding something delicious. Or he runs across an artifact where rogues want to cause me some great bodily harm. Think I already picked this one up? I did. No indication, no tool tips that say, hey, buddy, you've visited this before or not. But if we hadn't have clicked on those ones, we might have missed this obelisk in the very center where we had defeated some enemies, but we didn't have the time or the movement points on our hero to go back and actually grab it. So a little bit of double checking is part of the game when it comes to Heroes 1. It's part of the game. Okay, month 5, week 3, day 1. Folks, I feel like this is so many in-game days. Oh my goodness. I feel slow as a snail. But, I mean, I can tell that I'm actually much faster paced in this Heroes 1 playthrough than I usually am in Heroes 2 or Heroes 3. Heroes 2 and 3, I do take longer turns because I'm thinking more. This feels very, very straightforward. Right? Like, this feels like the choices and the options are very obvious. Maybe they're not as obvious, to everyone. Maybe I've got enough Heroes of Might and Magic experience, I'm just clicking and just going as quickly as I can, but this feels obvious to me as far as what is the next and most appropriate step. At this point, everyone's got a job. Ari is heading to the east. He should not be distracted by these things, but I just can't help it. He's going to be distracted by shiny things. Agar is going to the northeast because he's got 3 dragons and 26 minotaurs. My goodness. And then Balagar is heading back for a resupply so he can go to the front as soon as he can. Joe Josh is following up, probably going for this Town of Blackfang. Whoops. Maybe exploring just a little bit along the way. Yeah, just a little bit along the way. But again, this all feels pretty straightforward as we do pick up another gold mine. We do know that there is at least, well, we don't know. We guess, with good reason, that there is our castle in the upper left and then one other castle in each of the other corners of this map. I'm guessing that we're not too far away. Probably not too far away from Lord Hart's castle, the red player in the upper right. We'll get there as soon as we can. Just as soon as we can. Sprites do a little bit of damage, dwarves do a little bit of damage, and dead. 959 damage from 7 dragons. Oh my gosh. Bonus damage feels pretty darn good. Look at this, 2 gold mines right next to each other. Huh. I guess that's the way that the enemy was getting ready to allow our foes to do some really nice damage. Folks, look at this, 2 obelisks right next to each other. That's a pretty critical area, I think. So I'm very happy to see that. Another obelisk in the upper right corner, and I could probably guess where this is right now if I just take a gander. I'm guessing it's going to be right in here. Yeah, probably right about over there. Grass in the right corner and the left corner. Upper right, bottom left. And then snow in the immediate 6 o'clock position. And I'm guessing as some elves do the right thing and join us, I'm guessing that there's just a little bit more dirt as nomads join us, a little bit more dirt going into this area here, and that's actually where we're going to find our ultimate artifact. Sooner rather than later, we're going to get there. This map feels like it's drawing to a close rather quickly. I'm going to ignore the gold. I think that the 2 obelisks are even more important. Let's go grab those. And let's, again, we're trying to hug the tree line here so we can root out any enemy castles wherever we can. Any death-dealing creatures, any problematic ruffians that don't want to be brought to justice or fall under my rule. We must track them down, and we shall. 3 dragons at a time. Might as well take Black Fang. All of a sudden, Joe Josh here picked up, 13 of the nomads and a fistful of the elves. And if he wasn't a great hero before, he is now. Looks like the enemy swordsmen and pikemen are stepping all over themselves. We're going to take out their ranged threat. Bad morale. Maybe for the first time in this campaign, we have seen bad morale. And the nomads are completely blocked off from this fight, but they do walk right into some swordsmen. That's okay. I've seen worse things happen. Pikemen step up. They're going to just barely tickle the Cyclopes before the Cyclopes end their hopes of doing anything other than appearing on a Wheaties box. Have you seen these pikemen? They were last seen at this battle, and then they just disappeared. Last seen disappearing in a poof of blood. Okay, I guess it wasn't like a Wheaties box. I guess it was actually a milk carton that I was thinking of, but you understand. Of course, the milk cartons being the way that they tried to track down lost children back in the day. That got dark quick. I apologize. Okay, we're there to this other obelisk, and we're getting closer. Getting closer. Is it right here, actually? No, it's not there. It might be over here. No, I still think it's down right over there. But with grass to the far right, I think that we're finding this very quickly. Let's actually have everybody converge on that point. 2 more obelisks here. 1 and 2. And then even Airy, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy with 7 dragons, an elemental storm, and a dream. He's going to press into the enemy's territory. Might as well have everybody else either explore or kill something nifty. Joe Josh is finding... he's finding some enemies that we don't really feel like we need to fight. You don't get extra points for clearing out the entire map. It feels like you should sometimes, but you don't. You don't. Ooh, we might lose this fight. Folks, okay, we're fighting the Knight Castle here. 28 archers, 10 of the Crusaders, 28 of the swordsmen, 15 of the cavalries, and 31 of the pikemen. We've got 3 dragons, 42 gargoyles, 11 of the gargoyles, 26 of the minotaurs, 119 of the centaurs. This is not an easy fight. We've got 1 blind to our name. The enemies have no way of dispelling this blind. It's going to last for 4 turns. Do we want to go in and fight? Do we want to blind the paladins for 4 turns? I think we do. I think we blind. I think we go up and fight. Yeah, we let the pikemen attack the gargoyles, and we try and just make space so that the dragons can get in here. Because right now, the dragons can't fly over. There's nowhere to attack. There's nowhere at all. But if we can kill archers and have the gargoyles step up here to do that, I mean, we're going to have space then. Yeah, 2 hex griffins can't get into this castle. Interesting. And so, just to make sure that this works out, we've got to actually kill archers. We kill 10. And will 35 gargoyles make the space? Will they kill 7 archers here? They do. So we should be able to fight in this downward position with the dragons against these pikemen. Will we also hit the crusaders? We do not, and I'm actually fine with that. I would prefer not to just yet. I've still got 2 more rounds for the blind. Let's give ourselves some time to do some damage. Let the castle walls fall. And we're down to only 77 centaurs. It's not good, but losing 22 at a time, just gotta stay alive. And folks, we are in it to win it. We're gonna kill 4 more pikemen here. We're gonna roast the rest of them with our big purple dragons. And oh, how do I do this? I want the minotaurs to be able to step up and do damage, but I think the 2x dragons fill up this entire space. Tell you what, we're gonna let the minotaurs do their work. We're gonna skip. Swordsmen are gonna step up. That makes space for the next turn of forces to go in and deal with the cavalries. And since we still had 1 more turn on the crusaders, I think that that's still a good choice. Paladins, excuse me, they're not crusaders. Okay, 1 more shot here. And we're down to 34 of the centaurs. Not looking so good, Chief. Chief, it's not looking so good. How about we attack? Let's see. How about we attack the paladins with the gargoyles? We take the retaliation, 16 go down, 2 minotaurs from the swordsmen, and then that way the 3 dragons get a full shot off on the paladins without a retaliation and the good morale. That feels like an excellent decision. We have to take out these highly offensive troops with our double attack. They get 2 attacks when they swing. Yeah, that feels pretty critically important. I think I fought this fight about as good as I could have. We still have to take some damage from the cavalries, but at this point, the 21 minotaurs are going to hold steady, and the paladins are down to only 2. They did 26 damage on the second swing, 50-something on the first, but with the retaliation, they are down for the count. Cavalry step up. We're probably going to get a nice double hex attack off this way. We do. No, I missed it. Oh no. As 1 dragon goes down, we actually messed that up. Let's have the griffins get into this fight. There's no sense in trying to save anybody. We're trying to just do damage and win, baby. Now is not the time for moral victories or trying to lose as few troops as possible. Now is the time to win. And the centaurs have gone down. Griffins did not get a second retaliation, funny enough. I wasn't sure about that. That's an interesting interaction. So the paladin gets 2 attacks. The first attack, the griffin retaliates. The second attack, the griffins do not retaliate. Interesting. I think that interaction holds true from game to game, but just very interesting to see because that's one of those logic points where you just don't know what to expect. Until you actually see it in action, you just don't know what to expect. And folks, 21 of the minotaurs is going to defeat those final cavalries. We lose 1 dragon, 38 of the gargoyles, 2 of the griffins, 5 of the minotaurs, 119 of the centaurs. But we defeat 10 paladins, 15 cavalries, 28 swordsmen, 31 pikemen, and 28 archers. How do you like them apples? Boom, baby. +1 spell power, +1 knowledge for Agar. Nice, he gained 2 levels. It just tells you all at once rather than make you click through multiple screens. I kind of like that decision. I kind of do. And folks, red player has been vanquished. That was a major fight. Antoine is up here. What he's doing, I don't know, but it's Agar's job to purchase out, it looks like 8 of the paladins here. We're going to let go of these gargoyles. We're going to see who else is available here. 5 cavalry, 70 peasants, 22 archers. Tell you what, let's actually, let's pick up the archers. Just so we have some ranged damage. We're going to let go of the 9 griffins, and I think the 5 cavalries is better than the griffins in this case. And we've stopped in with Agar. He's clicked on this. He's got anti-magic, slow, blessed, blind, etc. And we're going to see what Antoine does. I don't know if in this instance Agar is going to fight in the castle or not, because there's these troops in the garrison and he's simply visiting. But I'm excited to find out what the logic is in Heroes of Might and Magic 1. Of course, in different games, it's a little bit different from playthrough to playthrough. And folks, I was correct. Unfortunately, you cannot get to these dragons. This is a mirage. Don't even think about it. And now I'm sad. I'm sad, I admit. Okay. Well, let's continue to explore this dirt area with Joe Josh. Again, looking for the ultimate artifact, sticking to our objectives. And looks like this is all snow. Agar, do we rush Antoine? Let's actually see if we can purchase another level of Mage Guild. We do. Teleport, Berserker. I think with Berserker, we absolutely win this fight. We don't just take it, we win it. So, 40 of the archers, 12 of the wolves, 13 of the orcs, 69 goblins. Nice. 1 unicorn. Yeah, not even a problem. Not even a problem. In fact, I don't even know who I'm supposed to Berserker here in this instance. Maybe I should have Berserkered the wolves? I don't know. It feels like a waste. And they wait on the wolf. They just decided not to go with the wolves? Okay. All right. Let's have the dragons go and deal with these 40 archers. 13 go down. Good luck. I don't think it's going to do much for you. 46 damage. Not too bad. And we get some nice double hex retaliations off. Oh, it feels good when that happens. Not always do you get that lucky, but when it works, it feels pretty all right. Good luck twice in a row. Imagine being these guys. Imagine feeling like you're on top of the world. And like, you can do no wrong. Imagine that you can do no wrong. You are the best that there is. You're the best that there ever was. You are the coolest. You're the baddest. You're awesome. Today is your day. And it doesn't matter because the enemy has 2 purple dragons. Oh no. 3 times in a row. This is the best day of my life. Yeah, you're still gonna die. You have no chance. It's not happening. I'm gonna move these Minotaurs up here. I'm gonna use the teleport spell for the first time. Just feels like a good decision. 65 of the goblins goes down, and the enemy runs. Antoine is a coward, but he's a smart coward, and I respect the play. I respect the decision. That was what they call in the NBA a business decision. So in the National Basketball Association, or basketball in general if you play it, there is, as we see Vitania, do we fight? Sure, why not? We might even lose this one, but that's okay. In the National Basketball Association, when you get out of the way of your opponent because you're going to get dunked on, that's not a bad decision. We call that a business decision because you don't want to end up on a poster. There comes a point where no matter how good a defense you play right now, they're still going to dunk on you. So you might as well just get out of the way, let them have their dunk, and not have them dunk all over you, have them do like a Vince Carter and jump over you or anything like that. Just get out of the way, let them have their moment in the spotlight, and don't take the loss in that particular moment. I feel like Antoine made a business decision there when he ran. Antoine made a business decision. He's like, look, this isn't the day. This isn't the time. Let's just get out of the way. And maybe we'll have another chance in the future. And maybe he will. And maybe he won't. I don't know. We're going to see. Maybe we dig up the ultimate artifact before we ever actually do damage to him. We will see. That's a pretty nice fireball. 20 points of damage times 4 of my creatures. That's going to be 80 damage. I like that decision. Seems wise. 5 trolls. I don't know. I still got tons and tons of dwarves I got to deal with. In the previous playthrough, we saw that 40 or 50 dwarves can kill 3 purple dragons. So, feels like a pretty good idea to try and soften them up before my 6 cyclopes get into them. 12 of these goblins should kill 15 peasants. They do. The unicorns step up, kill the goblins. This is an interesting little chess match here. And I'm all for it. Do the dwarves hit the cyclopes from where they're at here? I don't know, but in case they do, is there a speed slower than slow? Is there a speed slower than slow? Looks like no. I don't know. We'll wait and find out. Yeah, there might be a speed slower than slow. I'm okay with that. Well, at least this allows our Cyclops to get the first hit off, and they do get the paralyze, which is very interesting, of course, because dwarves have a 25% chance of not getting paralyzed, of not eating any kind of negative offensive spell. And good thing, too, because if the Cyclops are going to cower in fear, then we better hope that that paralyze lasts long enough for them to get their wits back. Let's do the bless. It would have counteracted the curse anyway, but let's especially do this now. And they're going to kill 16 dwarves. Down to 9. And the Cyclops are going to finish off 5 final dwarves. 39 of the goblins, 4 of the trolls, 2 of the elves, and 12 of our nomads lost. But we do kill a pretty sizable army. 43 dwarves. It's not actually that bad. Not that bad. Armored gauntlets of protection, +1 defense, not too bad. And Joe Josh got 2 attack skill levels. That is really cool. I'm guessing that the logic for heroes, by the way, as we mentioned earlier, talking about when Aerie got to level 10, I'm guessing that the logic persists where before level 10, you are predisposed to get certain things depending on what faction you are. I'm guessing that that's still the case. So, just nice to see that things are working out as intended, as expected. What's not working out as expected is picking up ogres, 17 of them just for free, and then trying to figure out where this ultimate artifact is. We should know where this is. Is this the flower? That's got to be it, right? That's my flower. There's this little alcove here, trees, trees. So flower, flower with the purple one right there. Yeah, okay. We have found it, folks. It was in the general area I thought it would be. The mines on the map are actually not there, which is pretty interesting. I can't tell you the reasoning for that, but it feels like maybe a missed opportunity. I don't know. It just seems like you would want to have mines show up on the puzzle map. But again, business decisions. Whoops. How far? Oh, we got to go through some nomads. Well, we will go the long way then. Tyro will be spared. I will spare him. If he wishes to run around me, he sure can. If he wishes to fight me, he sure can die. Your choice, buddy. I don't make the rules. I just tell you how to live your life. Try searching on clear ground. Whoops. Joe Josh will do the same. Balagar is going to come on back. And Agar is looking for an easier route to get to the digging. I was really trying to avoid fighting another battle because I'm trying to make sure that this video ends up pretty quickly. There's a good chance, folks, that I'm going to end up releasing not 1 but 2 videos today. The plan is I haven't done as much heroes recently as I would like, and it's been since October 22nd since we did Heroes of Might and Magic 3. Folks, we have a really interesting match coming up with Heroes 3, and that's going to be Mr. Sandro, the Necromancer, as we're about to find out, who has now taken multiple artifacts from multiple heroes, and he's going to have the Cloak of the Undead King, and he's going to have the... help me out. Cloak of the Undead King, and the other one. Oh, I'm embarrassed. Sandro's going to have 2 beautiful artifacts, and we're going to get to play as the most overpowered necromancer that the world has ever seen. And when that happens, not if, but when that happens, it's going to feel pretty darn good. I'm just digging footloose and fancy free here. We're going to find what we're looking for eventually. I'm actually going to steal these dragons from Agar. Just going to make this fight even easier. I kind of wish that the nomads would just leave me alone. Just call it, man. Just let it go. Do I have Storm? I'm going to cast Storm. It's going to cost me some troops, but again, I'm trying to get out of this fight sooner. Cloak of the Undead King. And... oh, I gotta look it up now. Great. The fact that I can't remember. Sandro, Cloak of the Undead King, and Armor of the Damned. There we go. Okay. Oof. Jeez. I'm embarrassed that that took me that long. You see what I mean? Now, understandably, part of this is, you know, on camera and it slips your mind and, you know, you don't, you know, you have to remember what you're trying to say here. That does happen to everybody now and again. But, in general, I would try and make sure that I find the Might and Magic and Heroes of Might and Magic historians, the lore masters, so that they can tell us the real story, and so I can get it straight from them, rather than try and pretend like I know what the lore is when I can't even remember what the 2 artifacts that Sandro has on hand for this upcoming Heroes of Might and Magic 3 video that we're going to be doing as soon as possible. Folks, after spending many hours digging here, you have uncovered the Eye of Goros. And with that being said, we have defeated the 3rd scenario here for the Lord Alamar campaign, and I'm very happy for it. The healing power of the Eye of Goros spreads throughout the land. The population unites behind you, and the other lords retreats. The war for domination begins. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So, I don't know if this is all the creatures that you find here in Heroes of Might and Magic 1, but yeah, that's an awful lot of them. It's going to ask us if we want to go on to the next scenario, and the answer is no, but we are going to save this off today. And I'm going to be very, very grateful for the opportunity that we've had to have an excellent experience here in Heroes 1. We are still working on Heroes 3. Again, I'm planning on releasing that video as soon as possible. If it ends up being the following day, so be it, but I have not forgotten. Trust me, we are going to go through Heroes of Might and Magic 3 and have such a good time with that. And we are also working on Heroes of Might and Magic 2 still. I am planning on streaming tomorrow, folks. It is currently November 7th, and it's about 9:20 p.m. my time. I'm planning on streaming sometime in the early morning tomorrow. My library opens at 9 a.m. and I do have the opportunity to go stream, so it may be early enough for some of you late night folks over there in Europe. It may be your evening time, but at least it's not the dead of night. And for that, I am very, very grateful, and I'm grateful for all the folks that give me such good vibes and such good energy. Folks, thank you for the time. Thank you for the energy. My name is Stix Fox. I want you to look after you, look after your friends, look after your family. I'm grateful for everything. Take care. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, I'm out.